Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and finally my buddy Rhett, because we don't have there's a nut for her, because we don't have any dogs coming over today, and I'm feeling a lot better. Got pretty sick. I think it was like last Wednesday. It's today's Saturday, so last Wednesday I had to call in sick to work. Could not work. I was really, really sick. And then Thursday I felt better. I definitely did not wasn't 100%. The people I work for were very kind, and they did not put me under a lot of pressure on that day, um, which was amazing of them. Because I honestly would not have been able to sort of function. And then yesterday I was doing pretty good. I was doing okay. And then today I feel pretty good. Uh, Yesterday I think if I could have just slept until like noon, if I could have just slept as long as I wanted to sleep, I think I would have probably been fine the rest of the day. Um, but I'm a contractor, so I need to make that money. Um, so, anyways, the one thing I did learn, sort of, or kind of came to the conclusion of, is as you get older, what happens is you start to have more and more, like, let's say when you're 16, you probably have a lot of bad days when you're 16, but they're usually like you stayed up too late, or something like that. They're usually, you do it to yourself, but you may have 5 to 6 really, like, days that you're just not operating at a very high level, and then when you get to as you get older, you start having more and more days that are bad days. But the thing is if you've if you're fortunate, you've maintained your health and you've maintained your brain, and you've sort of really started to try to improve yourself mentally, uh, from, like, memorization techniques and stuff like that. um, your best days are better than your best days when you were 17, right? Like, you're I could code a hell of a lot better now than I could when I was 17. um, I could code better now than I ever could. On my best days today, I can code better than I ever could at any other point in my life. But I probably could code better on my worst days in my 30s than I can now. So it's important to constantly be improving yourself. Um, but so there was, like, sort of an abstract goal I've been trying to get to, that I believe is, and that's, I'm trying to get away from these having references. I think that I to objects. So I think the idea is that I want to have as few references, if at all possible, only one reference to any object, um, as possible. Um, if at all possible, I only want to have one reference. And I believe, and this is just a belief, I do not know this, but I believe that the chances of getting a memory leak go way down. But that's just like an abstract belief that I have. And you have to keep it real with yourself. You have to be like, this is what I think. I don't know this. Then there's something I do know, though, and I know that I can't export a three camera to a text file, to a JSON file, to a CSV file. So that is actually something. And, like, I can export a triple to a text file, but I can't export a perspective camera to a text file. So, and that is a no-go. I will never, ever, ever create an application where I can't save, or a visualization application like this where I can't save something so that I can continue to work later. That I don't. It's a no go for me. I'm not going to allow that. So I did save the project with this, even though the goal was for me to, um, was abstract to begin with. It ended up becoming a concrete thing. So that's that. I do need to make this kind of a fast video, because ooh, I don't think, welcome pause. Did I actually get this working? Wow. No, I would have thought that was going to be a lot harder than it was. Let's see. It does work. Yeah. feel like it's snappier now too. Um, so that's that. But oh, today's my amazing wife's birthday. So I will tell you that it's so important to have someone that you can count on when you are as you start to close in on 60. Um, you've got to have someone that you can count on. You've got to have someone that understands what you would want. So, because you become vulnerable at times, and you need someone that you can really, really count on. And I am very fortunate in that I have someone like that, um, and that I'm like that for somebody. That is just incredibly important. I love how that one looks right there. All right, so I guess that's working. So I guess I wanted to um, just take a quick look and see if so this refactor ended up being a lot easier, and I don't feel like I think there's a possibility that um, well, I don't know. I was gonna say that this is the next one, the ThreeJS might be the last one, but um, maybe not. Probably not. We probably have other things. All right, so I want to do this, and I need to make a commit, and it needs to be based on whatever the video number is. So this is 286. 286. That's the first kind of processor computer that I ever bought was a 286 processor. Um, I think it had a math coprocessor on it. Um, status dot and then video 286. What does this even do? This STC converts array of meshes to array of mesh IDs. Now, this whole concept that I have where I'm trying to have as few deep links to objects as possible, um, this is something that is brand new for me. Like, it's less than a month old. It has totally changed my whole viewpoint in many ways about coding in general. And it is the kind of thing that like makes me happy because I know that I'm still growing as a developer. Every time you kind of stumble into something where you're like, oh man, this is a huge change. Um, you know that that should be happening all the time. This is such a gigantic field. You can always get better. I don't care who you are, you can get better. Um, to an array of mesh IDs. Ooh, let's go ahead and push that. Every once in a while, I tend to just by habit push as soon as I commit. So every once in a while that bites me because if you wanted to undo a commit, it's so much easier to do um, if you haven't pushed yet. Um, but that one I felt really good about. All right, so what we want to do is was it an ST scene? Okay, so, oh yeah, no, we have a tough thing with components. That's right. I do not have a viz. Oh, this is good. We don't need that anymore. I'm gonna just commit this just so it doesn't confuse the next one. Removes unused imports. Let's go ahead and push that to now. what is next? The next one is, let's start looking. ST camera. I think we did it. Okay, so here I have decided, is this, I think this is the one I was just looking at. Okay, so we want to make this a three, uh, well, we don't even need it, right? Because we have the camera ID. So I'm just going to get rid of this and see what happens. Because if I remember correctly yesterday, and see, this is a perfect example. Um, like I clearly remember yesterday looking at the camera, the three camera service, and then um, and seeing that I actually store the camera. These are services, right? Yeah, three camera service. I actually store a dictionary of cameras, and I store them by the STID. And I really should change this to STID. I think I've been doing that all over the place. Let's see, set camera position, create camera ID. See, I take an ID in. So let's do that refactor right now. That that will pay off in the future. Yeah, see, service in the ST camera I service, and I send it my this is an ST camera ID, right? So I'm just gonna make this ST camera ID. Right now, like the way the brain is functioning, and with the confusion and the problems that I'm dealing with at the moment, making that mental jump between, oh, this isn't just a okay, yeah, so we know we don't even want this. We know we don't even set that, so. And I feel good. Like normally I don't feel good about like willy-nilly just deleting stuff like that. But we've had a lot of success in previous ones. So, um I feel good about doing that. Okay, so this, see, when we see that it's the ST, we know that it's our ID. If we see ID there in the future, we're probably going to actually want to know ThreeJS's ID. And um um and um things will get very, very confusing to try to like make sense of the code of what's happening. Um, See, like here, we know this is a RST renderer ID. We know it's an ID that's been created for us. So let's come over here. So it's saying that in this renderer service that I am adding a three camera. It's like, you don't even have a three camera, bro. Okay, do I need this three camera? It doesn't. Oh yeah, I do need the three camera. So that means that I have my ST camera ID, right? So I can get the three camera from the camera service, not the ST camera service, the camera service. Oh, look at that. I named it three camera service. I think that was smart. I think that I think I should have done that, but I don't know. I have a feeling I'll be shifting it all over to that at some point. Oh my gosh. My external monitor just decided to not show anything for a second. Get camera by ID. Okay. I need to change the name of that. Oh, that's funny. ST camera ID. What's the comment? Oh, so that was for me. I think that was a couple days ago. And it doesn't look like we need this ST camera anymore. Oh yeah, that's right. That broke the other day. Let's see, do we have any other? Okay, I do want to refactor this though. Go to implementation. Okay, I want to change this to ST. Now, when I used to work, like, I did like three, I've done like three contracts with CNN back when they used to be here in Georgia. And they, when I first got there, they were actually very strict about not having long names. And even on my third time, even though we had what did we have? Webpack. We had Webpack, and Webpack was renaming everything. They still were very strict about that. Like a lot of the old fogies, which were like literally 15 years younger than me, um, a lot of them would be like, no, you can't have a long name because of the traffic, because of web traffic. Because the thing is like they were getting like 38 million unique visits a day. So like actual every letter that got transmitted over the lines cost real money. Um, so, or at least at some point it did. Okay, um, so it was very important that you named everything as succinctly as possible. But once we got Webpack there, it didn't matter, and it was weird because I would try to explain it to them, and they would just be like, okay, why is it not? They would just like it would literally you could see it physically hurt their heads when I would try to explain. This all gets retranspiled by Webpack. Webpack completely takes all of this code and minimizes everything. So it doesn't matter what we name things. We should name it for our benefit, not worry about what's going to happen, just for readability. Um, I never could win that battle. It was just always a crazy battle. And it was so weird because like since they were like 20 years younger than me, they thought that they were more mentally like wide open and open-minded and stuff. And they just thought that me saying that we should change and not do things the way we've always done it was a sign of me being an old fogey. And them saying, no, we gotta keep very short names and write code in a very, very way that mattered 10 years ago meant that they were young and vibrant. It was weird. Okay, so everything still seems to work. Guess we should run unit tests now. Um, almost feel like, yeah. The problem, so here's the thing, is it's very unlikely unit tests or end-to-end tests are broken on this. But if there's like a 100%, 100, 100, 1 out of 100 chance that it's still broken, this is going to be very difficult if we do a bunch more to figure out that this broke it. Um, it's going to be like literally 10 times harder. So I think it's more important that we just carefully, methodically run all the unit tests and run all the end-to-end tests. Um, so npm run test. Let's come over here and just close it, close all, close others. And this is the guy we're running. Guess to save a little time, we can go through it. Now, I don't know, like, if, well, okay, we definitely could have built everything so that we didn't have deep links, deep references, deep object references. Yeah, and like, yeah, this, we would be a lot farther down the road right now had I done that. And it's kind of crazy because all of the code to support that is pretty all there already. I haven't had to build, I thought I was going to have to build out getters and setters and all kinds of stuff, but no, I already built all those out. So now what I'm wondering is, I remember having a problem with not being able to pull in like the renderer service and the camera service together or something like that. And I haven't run into any of those issues this time. So I wonder if this deep linking thing has resolved that issue. I hope so. Building, 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 building. I swear, like the I see on TV on big giant network, their their little emblems and stuff, and they're just nowhere near as good as or big movies. They're little as good as what we'll be able to build when this is done. And it's just like, oh, that drives me crazy because I would love to get to that. Oh, okay. Oh, so we have a broken test. Yeah, I think it was by. So we did break unit tests. And this is so much easier, right? Like I didn't even have to like dig in because I remember because we were just working on it. That would have been if I had decided to move forward, that would have been like literally 100 times harder. Now, it was like an effort of 0.01, so it would have been an effort of zero point 0.1 or something, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but and yeah, it doesn't seem to be able to restart when an actual test changes. So it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, to figure out probably, but still, it's like 100 times harder. It's not always going to be something that easy. Um, so it might have been like something that was a 10, and then 100 times harder makes it 1,000. That might not have even been, um, feasible. Oh yeah, it looks like a lot of stuff is broken. Um, okay, so ST mesh is we have to get the mesh itself from our mesh manager. I don't think it's called a mesh manager though. Here we go. That's so funny. I was like, "There's no way this broke is breaking would break this, but it sure does." IDs, and this would have been very, very difficult to do. I think. And that's a number. Because there's no way I'd just remember how to fix this right off the top of my head. And now we need our mesh. It's so weird that nothing is broken. And like, where does it get this ST mesh from? That is so crazy that this ST mesh doesn't even exist. That's weird that it didn't get caught. Is equal to. And for me, it's kind of nice because, so do I have a mesh service? I'm assuming this is animation service. Yeah, so we have our ST mesh service. Oh, that's where it's getting the ST mesh from. Okay, so we actually just want to do this right here. I'm gonna have to go back at some point and fix that. Like refactor that to the ST by ST mesh ID. I'll bet you anything at some point I'm going to want to actually use the ThreeJS IDs. And so get mesh by ID will end up being very confusing. Okay, so scene mesh IDs 0 this dot. Actually, I think we call it just mesh service, right? Well, whatever we pasted before is what I need. Mesh service get mesh by ID. Okay, so I'm gonna make another const here. Const. So would like back in the day when I was at CNN, the last time, like this would be a perfect example where they'd be like, do this on one line because the computer can computer can um, get it faster. We'll be able to process it faster if it doesn't have to do two lines, which was amongst the most bizarre things I ever heard. And it was so crazy. And what was crazy about the whole thing was that the people that I worked with that were saying these just like completely wrong things. Um, these guys were so smart. I mean, they were some of the smartest people you'll ever meet in your life, and and they were so wrong. Um, and like, it was kind of like they had, because there was a bunch of them, there was probably 30 of them, 40 of them, just really, really smart people. They were just so smart, and they had all kind of settled on some of these really, really wrong things. Like they were right when they learned them, but then the whole industry moved on, and they were just like way behind the um way behind the ball at that point. Like so, like one thing that was really funny, right, was that we used to we were right next to the World Conference Center, and there was this big Java convention that they would have there. And in the Java conventions, they would say, one year I remember they were saying nobody has ever done a full stack JavaScript, and everybody raised their hand. I was like, we're at CNN, we're full stack JavaScript from back end to front end, everything's JavaScript, and they're like, yeah, no, that's not possible. And it was like, that's how it is there. And it was just like, and then they got so used to being ahead that when they fell behind, they just had no idea they were behind. Okay, so our unit tests are passing. I cannot conceive of how we don't have 100%, but I could conceive of how we broke the unit tests, and boy, did we break them. Um, okay, still 100%, so that's good. All right, so now we'll just run our end-to-end tests. Oh, cancel. Don't want to kill it that way. All right, now npm run Cypress run Cypress run. And this will not pop it up. It'll run them all in the browser in the command line, which is a lot faster than um, running it in the headless. It's not as cool, but running it in the browser is really cool. But and then I'll commit this. Video 286, and we were so much farther in the last project by 286. By this time, we were building some awesome things. So we were actually dealing with lighting and stuff like that. Um, Man, this thing is taking forever. Here we go. Run starting. So it's running in Electron. Found my 10 things. I think next time I'll try to make sure I run it like so I can see it, because it could be passing and not working. I definitely have done that before where I uh, ran it and it passed, but then it was like, wait, that's not doing what I want to do. All right, so the keyboarding stuff, or it's doing the keyboarding, spacing passed. I do think that this is the missing piece. I think that if you start a huge JavaScript project and you're like, oh, we're going to build out this amazing project and it's going to be in JavaScript and it's going to do this and that and this and that, and it's going to fail. Dude, it's going to fail. Um, Once you get to a certain number of features, no one's gonna be able to keep all the features straight in their head, and especially if this is like your third run at it. If this is your third run at it, then your memories are gonna be all completely jacked up. You're gonna like, is that done in this one? Is that how we did it? Wait, I thought I remember having a meeting. Um, this keeps your head straight. The end-to-end testing is the most important. I mean, yeah, is the critical thing, and not just having end-to-end testing, but actually doing end-to-end tests. You know what? I need to actually make sure this stuff. So it passed. I do think I don't think anything should have broke, but I was so wrong on the unit tests. Oh, that's kind of cool though. It seems like it's starting faster, I guess. Yeah, that is definitely faster. I always like if I was like a director or something, someplace I would definitely want to have like a window with Cypress running in it. Um, just running through the website, whatever website we're doing, just constantly just moving through. Um, I think the hardest thing about um, end-to-end testing is like the developers really need to be sensitive to the needs of the end-to-end test. Um, some things just if you don't do it right, become damn near impossible to end-to-end test. Um, and then, like to me, the biggest thing that makes it really hard for QA people to do end-to-end tests is the Git. Very few people understand Git. Like there's people that Git is one of those things that you can work with every day for 30 years and not understand it. Um, and I have seen so many people pushed out of jobs because of Git behavior. Um, there was like I don't know, like a Git push force or something like that. Like I can almost guarantee if you're in a group of like 20 people and there's contractors and directs and you're doing some big project and someone starts saying Git push, oh, I just do a Git push force whenever that happens. If they say that, they probably won't be employed there in a year. It won't be for that, but basically, when you do a Git force push, you end up with some very difficult to explain bugs that show up. And then and for some strange reason, everyone always assumes that the person who's doing the Git force push is purposely bringing the whole application down. It's not true, but you do not want to you don't want to go down that path. Um, all right, so this one refactors the 3 camera out of the ST camera, right? That's what this one does. Here's the 3 camera out of ST camera. And we need to add it. And we definitely looked over everything already. And let's go ahead and push that. And that should do it for today. That was pretty good progress. 37 minutes, not bad. 38 minutes, not bad. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.